Welcome to the 208 Fantasy Football Show. Man, I don't know about you, but I am tired. Draft.
Watch
Tons to
college
talk
football
about
too.
today.
Got to put that in there too.
Absolutely. Football all over the place. You're 100% relying very. Lots going
Go
on.
Broncos.
Let's get into it right now. Hey, file on in, everybody. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Thanks for hanging out with us. We are just enjoying our football season. We are locked in. It is go time. Lots of news, lots of discussion. It's first week already, right? Thursday, we're there, and that is going to be the meat and potatoes of our discussion today.
And Friday and Sunday. It's
so
love that.
Absolutely. And then sprinkle in some college football on Thursday or on Saturday. So it's go. So
yes, sir.
And I think Lineberry said he's got first day of school. And for us, it's been school, football, high school games are going on. It's football all over the place. So well, let's jump right into it, fellas. There's plenty to talk about. Let's hit the news.
What's going on?
What you got for us, Chance?
Oh my gosh, it's finally over. It's finally over. Brandon Aiyuk gets paid. Like, we waited for this forever. Brandon Aiyuk not traded. Thank you to the Denver Broncos. They were instrumental in Brandon Aiyuk staying in San Francisco. But the Niners paid Brandon Aiyuk $120 over. Oh, sorry, $120 million.
That
Paid him 120 million over 4 years, 76 million guaranteed on that. So he's going to stay in San Francisco. I loved that there was supposed to be a three-way trade where the Broncos get a third-round pick for Courtland Sutton, and then the Steelers get Aiyuk, and it was going to be all sorts of wild, crazy. But all that drama, nothing's changed.
For nothing.
Yep. Yeah. And the Niners are, I'm glad they got him signed because their tackle's still sitting out. He has said Trent Williams said, I'll miss games. So that's kind of where we're at. And then the rookie wide receiver, Ricky Pearsall, was shot in an armed robbery altercation the other day. So he's in stable condition. They put him on the non-football injury list. So he, I hope speedy recovery for him. That was a scary deal, but bad vibes. Niners, bad vibes this last week.
Yeah, and I'm probably still staying away from Aiyuk in any drafts or further drafts that I recommend people doing. I don't like it. I don't like where he spent so much time away from everybody. It's been all about him, but that's just me. Good player, great player. We'll see how it kind of goes as the season cruises on. Tons. Lots of drafts happening this weekend. I know there's been several family leagues that everybody does. We enjoy our time. But I think people are probably just ready to wrap them up, maybe sprinkle in a few, and then we are go time. So
yeah. So just with those drafts, though, another just big news. Lineberry dealt with this his last draft, but Jamar Chase is still holding out. So if you're drafting early, Jamar Chase has said, I'm not going to play until I get one penny more than Justin Jefferson, which good for him. You know what? Jamar Chase, you are better than Justin Jefferson. You hold out for that money, big dog. I'm team Justin Jefferson.
I think he sides in this. I think he sides before the game. Like he has practice, but I think he'll play. I got him at the 9th pick. I was like, I'm not gonna let him fall. I'm just gonna take the talent. It's in a guillotine league, so if I lose, I'm out the first week, and then I can just forget about that league. So.
Yep. He'll sign. No reasons for them not to. But anyway, anything else from the news, fellas?
Those are the big ones. Unless you got something else, Lineberry.
Just I guess from watching college football, my mind already goes to dynasty. If you are a rebuilding team, go get first round draft picks right now. There is probably 4 or 5 good running backs. And I didn't know if you guys saw McMillan from Arizona had, I think, 10 catches and 304 yards.
Sheesh.
He's a monster. There is a bunch of dudes there's probably 8 really good dudes in dynasty that you can get in the first round. So That would be my suggestion.
Yep. Oh, we lost Matt.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
He's back.
Oh, there he is.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Lots of you can get right now for capital.
Oh yeah, and listen, I mean, we all understand as Boise State Broncos fan, with our Heisman favorite Ashton Genty, man, he put on a show this weekend.
He might be the number one. He might be the number one overall guy in Dynasty.
Well, listen, we are really reacting positively.
Very biased.
As super homers.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely. There's no way he goes number one over quite a few other guys in Dynasty, but I like where your head's at, Lineberry.
Yeah, I like.
Agreed. Yeah, he 6 touchdowns. That ties for the conference record. Certainly a school record. It was fun to watch. It was great to see Boise State put on a show. They did fall behind there for a second. Yeah, they got another freshman running back. They fell behind there, came back through, and got the W. So, well, let's jump in. The meat and potatoes of our show, guy. It's week 1. Week 1 starts Thursday. We're ready. I mean, we're ready for it. We've put a little bit something together for everybody out there to help you win your league, or really the first week, and on to win that championship. So let's jump into it. Starts and sits. So here we go. Right out of the gate, we're starting quarterbacks. I think one of the things we can agree on, both of you, is that this has probably been the deepest quarterback, class, if you want to call it that, for at least fantasy football. It's so deep that in a regular 1 quarterback league, it's really not that hard to find a quarterback. Superflex is a little different, but we're going to talk about the ones you at least should be starting that we feel comfortable with outside of your main guys, Mahomes and Burrows. You got your Burrow on here, but all those guys. So Lineberry, jump up with us. Who do you want to start this week? Who's your guy?
So Burrow is my guy. I feel like any team playing the Patriots or the Panthers defenses, they're probably going to get a slight bump from me every week. So the Patriots, as you know, traded their best defensive player to the Atlanta Falcons. Realistically, Christian Gonzalez is the guy on their defense. I don't know if he's quite ready. He was a very good prospect coming out of Oregon. I believe he tore his pec last year, didn't play at all. But I think this defense is going to struggle. I think this whole team's going to struggle. They're starting a lot of young guys on the defense. And I think Chance has alluded to it a little bit with Joe Burrow. I think this is their year again when they're going to go off. They have a really good offense. They improved the O-line. They have 3 giants at offensive tackle. Hopefully they play their rookie at guard. But I think he has a really good week, and I think the Patriots are going to struggle really hard. So,
I tell you though, that makes me nervous. And I'll reference this a lot today when we get into our start 'em and sit 'em. Aaron Schatz, who does he invented DVOA and he's the godfather of statistics. At the start of the season, the Patriots were number 3 in DVOA for him on defense. So they were already projected to be, to him, a really good defense. And after that, losing Judon, they only dropped down to 9. So I like your stardom because I trust in Joe Burrow, but I wouldn't sleep too hard on that Patriots defense. So Matt, are you have Jared Goff on this one?
Yeah. So So I actually loved both Stafford and Goff, and I think you have Stafford, but I do like Goff because they are playing against each other, the Rams and the Lions. So I just think this is going to be a shootout. I know both defenses are decent, but I really think both of them have a ton of weapons, and they're just going to push the ball down the field, and it's going to be a high-scoring game. Goff, I believe, is kind of ranked in that low end, 11, 12, 13 in that first week, and I'm okay with rolling him out there. You probably picked him up super late in your draft, and you know what? He's a good RB2 or a running quarterback too. And if you've got maybe you wanted Anthony Richardson maybe you picked him up there, and you're not sure against that Houston defense, this would be a good spot to put in Goff. This is my thoughts on that. Agree? Disagree?
Yeah, I agree. And it's the same reason why I have Matt Stafford as my stardom. I think there are probably 4 really exciting matchups this weekend. You've got Kansas City and Baltimore. I'm really excited about Buffalo, Arizona. I think that's going to be a high-flying shootout game. I think the Lions and the Rams is going to be a shootout. Sometimes these games aren't as big as shootouts as you want them to be. I don't think Kansas City, Baltimore is going to be a big shootout. I think that's going to be a real low scoring game. I don't think San Francisco, New York Jets, I think it's going to be a low scoring defensive game. So give me this when it comes to like high flying game, high flying scoring games. This is what I want.
And just a shout out to our fans here, but James, hey, woo, big surprise Chance is recommending Stafford.
Yeah.
So yes, he has shares of it too.
James and I drafted together this last weekend, and he sniped Jaden Daniels from me, so I had to pick up Stafford late. Yeah, he knows it. It's a good stardom pick.
And look, I have Stafford in one of our family leagues here that we like to just tootle around with, but and I got him super late. But if you believe in Kupp and Tua, why wouldn't you believe in Stafford? I think he's going to have a very solid floor. So. Moving on, staying in that quarterback area here, guys that we really don't like here, and obviously you can see right out of the gate a couple of rookies, but Chance, go ahead and start with your quarterback to say, hey, let's hold up.
And Matt, I'm sorry, but it is Caleb Williams, and I really think that Caleb Williams is going to be really productive starting this season for the Browns, but I think that there has to be a little bit of pump the brakes when it comes to like that very first weekend for all of these rookies. I mean, honestly, I would be surprised if any of them have a, success right off the bat, just because that transition is harder. And where the Bears are playing Tennessee, Tennessee could show up and have a really competent defense. So it's one of those, for me, Caleb Williams is my sit-em as a rookie.
Yeah, I won't disagree, but Chance, it's not the Browns. He plays for the Bears. But that's
there
okay.
We go.
The Bears.
we don't talk about the quarterback that plays for the Browns. So
that's right, Justin. Yeah, you have Tua reaching out. Why do you have him on here on this list?
So the Dolphins are playing the Jaguars. So the Jaguars, they hired the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, who I thought did a really good job with our defense last year. They added Arik Armstead, who was a D tackle for the 49ers, who's just a really good defensive player. They have two really good edges. They have Alua Khan. They have Devin Lloyd, who are both really, really good. Their back end is good. Tyson Campbell's an up-and-coming guy, super lengthy. Cisco's a good safety. They brought in Darnell Savage as well. Like Tua redoing this offensive line, I'm kind of scared to see how they do. I still think Devon Achane and most are going to do what they're going to do because they're just super talented. But I am curious to see how this O-line holds up against this front seven. And I don't know if it's going to be that pretty. Like, I just think this Jaguar defense is pretty underrated. They got studs at all the levels where you want them. I think Tyson Campbell, he can run. Like, I don't think he's as fast as Tyreek or Waddle, but he is a very athletic corner that can do some really good stuff. So I would temper your expectations on Tua.
Yeah, agreed. And mine is along the same lines. I Jaden Daniels, and I really like him this year. But I'm also going to temper expectations. He's ranked 9 coming into first week. He's playing against Tampa Bay. I guess I just need to see it before I get too carried away with it. If you got him as your number 1 QB, I think you got to roll him out there. But just temper expectations and let's see what happens. It could be middle of the road. He could boom. He could bust. But just give it some time. Kind of moving on to running backs. Before I want to pause here. Brad posed a question. So would you trade Zamir White and JMO for James Conner? Chance, I'm going to go ahead and give you that one. What are your thoughts on this? Would you do that?
I really think that like anytime in a situation, and I'm assuming I think about redraft with this, in redraft, one of these, I don't know if I really think you're going to get that massive of an upgrade from Zamir White to James Conner. Like to me, it's not a huge upgrade. Now, I'm stocked down on Jameson Williams right now because I think Tim Patrick is going to come in, and I think Tim Patrick could 100% take targets from Jameson Williams in that offense. He is a really good, really underrated wide receiver out of Denver. I'm so sad we cut him. But I do think if you want a higher upside running back, Zamir White's going to get volume. James Conner is going to get volume. James Conner is more likely to get volume near the goal line. So if that's what you're looking for upside wise, because I'm stocked down on Jameson Williams, I would shoot for that because that is a higher upside running back.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I would add to this. That's a pretty equal trade without JMO. I think you're maybe overpaying a little bit. there. So it depends on your team construct, what you got there. If you have Trey Benson already, then okay, yeah, go ahead and do that. If you don't, I'm not sure because I think we got to be worried about James Conner and injury. So just keep that in mind.
I would take the James Conner side. I like Antonio Pierce has talked up the other running backs. I don't know if he's going to have a crazy year. It might be a volume things, but I would take James Conner in that trade.
There you go. All right. Speaking of running backs, let's jump into our stardom week one running backs right out of the gate.
Nice.
So, Lineberry, you're excited about this. Who do you like?
Lineberry's excited because he sniped my guy. He sniped my guy.
I can't quit him. I'm so excited for Javonte. Like, they just like said like since they cut Pete Rye, they're like, well, like Jamil McLaughlin's gonna get all this run. And I'm like, guys, like Javonte was the lead touch carrier and he blew out his knee. Like his knee was gone. Like you guys have to understand that he just got another 12 months to reset. Like I'm just gonna bet on the talent here. I think he's a very good running back. I think he's a top 10 running back skill wise in the NFL. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I think you get him in the 7th, 8th round, 6th round where he is going. I think is an absolute steal for an RB2. And I think he's going to show out. I think the Seattle defense is going to struggle a lot. I think it's going to take a while to get McDonald's scheme going. I think they're a very young defense, not super great. So I love Javonte this year.
Mm-hmm. Plus, Samaje vacated 56 receptions as a running back. That's got to go somewhere. And Javonte is no slouch when it comes to catching out of the backfield.
Exactly.
He's going to be Bo Nix's best friend this first game.
Exactly.
Chance, your guy?
So I went Josh Jacobs. And, this is also a part of this. I've been stock up on Josh Jacobs. I mean, with them putting A.J. Dillon on IR – and them also having issues. They wanted to put Lloyd on IR, but they ended up not putting him on there so they could put A.J. Dillon. To me, that says Lloyd is at least out for the first 4 weeks. Now, there's been a lot of shade thrown on Emmanuel Wilson, the undrafted free agent that they have, second-year guy. But he was an undrafted free agent for Denver, and he played a lot for Denver last summer. And I watched a lot of his stuff. I heard a lot of beat reporters talk about him. Emmanuel Wilson is not a slacker of a backup. Okay. He would be a sneaky ad if you have Josh Jacobs. That's a crazy thing. But as a guy who's watched him, I think he's got some juice. But Josh Jacobs is playing the Eagles in Brazil on Friday. And the Eagles themselves as a defense, like they really aren't that great. Like they're not a great defense. Oh, did I lose you guys?
We still got you. Yep, you still got us.
Thank you. All my stuff like that. Where was that? The Eagles aren't that great of a defense. They've got a bunch of young cornerbacks. Their linebackers are pretty mediocre. Even their O-line, great at pass defense, but their run defense struggled at the end of last year. So to me, Josh Jacobs is going to be the only guy in that backfield. And I think they're going to run him. I'm not super afraid of Jordan Love throwing the ball all over the place because Josh Jacobs is going to have red zone work. That's what that means to me.
He could get 30 touches because he's the only guy in the backfield. That's the biggest thing that you guys got to do. And he's in a good offense. So, like, the first 4 weeks, like, he could just eat a ton. And then, like, I'm not a big Josh Jacobs guy, but all those guys went down, man. He is a really good starting running back.
Great.
Kind of like Chuba a little bit. I mean, less talented, but, like, he's going to get the rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. My guy here, Jerome Ford. Now I know he's gonna he's playing against the Dallas, right? He is ranked 30 this week, the 30th RB in week 1, going against a tough Dallas defense. But I think he is ready. He is hungry. He wants to prove that he can carry the workload. He's behind one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, so he's going to get a ton of work. So I think it's go ahead and roll him out there. You drafted him, super late. Feel comfortable doing it. So moving on to wide receiver here. And we do have another question from Brad. We'll get to you in just a moment, Brad. Hang tight. I'm sorry. I said wide receiver. We need to talk about the running backs. This is who we don't like. Here we go. This is who we don't like. Chance, I'm going to start with you.
Hey, mine's real simple. Okay. Rico Dowdle was a great pickup. And I think truly a good pickup for fantasy in the later rounds. And we say that because we think he's going to be the starting running back. For week 1, if I don't know what the touch count's going to look like, I'm going to steer clear of starting Rico Dowdle. Anyways, on top of that, he's playing the number one defense in the NFL in the Cleveland Browns. Okay, messy backfield. We don't know his touch count, and we're playing Cleveland. I'm out. I would sit Rico Dowdle if you picked him up late and could afford it.
Yeah, he's a guy that's a sit and wait for me. Let's see how he does behind that line. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah,
he had some pretty decent, like his volume wasn't terrible last year, and his yards per carry weren't terrible. But I kind of want to see how he's going to roll out. One of those sit and wait guys for me.
I think Jerry Jones wants to roll out his bright new shiny paid toy in CeeDee Lamb and throw that ball as much as he can. I don't think Rico Dowdle is very possible. Benefit.
I can see like a 68, 70, 30 split when it comes to throwing the ball with this team.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, fair enough. Justin, your sit 'em this week?
You guys just know I just don't. I'm just not a fan of Rachaad White. I just think.
Yeah, you just barely started saying his name right. That's how much you hate him.
I just don't. They're going against the Commanders. I get it. They're probably going to be one of the worst teams. They went and got Quinn, who is no slouch when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. He's been Dallas's defensive coordinator for a long time, for 4 years, I believe. And they signed Bobby Wagner, who still got it. I just don't know what this offense is going to be. I think Bucky Irving is going to get some run. I really do. And I think Baker's going to try to push the ball down. I don't think it's going to be a lot of checkdowns. That's the only reason Rachaad White was relevant last year, if we're being honest. I just don't love this spot.
Yeah, fair enough. There's too many questions for me as well. The guy that I'm rolling out with, and he's right in the middle there, is Najee Harris. And I'm just going to say 2 words. It's Arthur Smith. I just don't trust anything there that he's got. I don't know how many carries. That backfield's crowded. I don't know what's going on. I like Warren a little bit better. I'm going to kind of steer clear of Najee. I didn't draft him at all in any of my leagues. I was like, nah. And the kid's uber talented. I'm just nervous. So if you've got him, sit on your bench, see what happens. Best case scenario, he goes off this week, and then try to move on from him. Try to sell him high. So
just a couple of questions carries in that backfield.
Absolutely. I want to take a break here because there's a couple of questions, and I want to get to Brad's team here. He listed out his team. Said the team is Lamar, Barkley, White, Sun God, Devontae Smith, Bowers, Goddard is his tight ends. Waddle. Bench is Chubb and Ford, Amari Cooper, Brian Thomas, J-Mo, Chase Brown, and Joshua Palmer. And I think you're just kind of asking Brad, hey, do we like your team?
I think he wants to like the trade construction of this. So he has the Zamir White and J-Mo side, it looks like. So he wants to trade that, I guess, to improve running back. I would, because then you have Barkley, you have the Browns backfield, and you have Connor, which I'm super okay with. Like, again, Chance made the best point, I think, in this trade. Tim Patrick is a dude. Like, he's a valuable wide receiver. He can take away a lot of stuff that if J-Mo's not going to perform, they're just going to switch him out. Like, who's the Lions coach? Why did I just forget his name? I can't remember. But anyways, like he will take him out.
Dan Campbell will love Tim Patrick.
And Dan Campbell will be like, I don't care what the draft capital. If you're not a better player, we're just going to put the best player out there.
Absolutely.
So I would do the trade.
There you go. And Parker here is asking, who should I start? Sutton, Devontae Smith, or Flowers? Chance?
For me, I would go Devontae Smith in this. Of those 3, it's Devontae Smith. I'm big fan of Sutton. I mean, and he's coming up for me. I was going to talk about him later, but the Broncos, they turned down a 3rd-round pick to keep Courtland Sutton on their team. He is their wide receiver 1. Okay. But again, just like what we said about Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, I'm not going to give Bo Nix a huge bump just because I'm a homer. Like I would take Devontae Smith with a proven connection to Jalen Hurts in a game where it could be a high-scoring game between the Packers and the Eagles. Zay Flowers, they're playing the Chiefs. I believe that game's not going to be as high-flying, and the Chiefs are a really good defense. To me, it's Devontae Smith without a doubt.
And with the trade last week, I don't know if we hit it, with Jahan Dotson going to the Eagles, it's going to allow Devontae Smith to just go crazy in the slot. Like, he's going to get, like, if you're playing half PPR or full PPR, he's going to get a ton of catches in the slot.
Yeah, and Kellen Moore loves his slot receivers. It's been that way for a long time, since he was a quarterback. he would always throw to a slot guy. So, yeah, we all agree Devontae Smith is your guy there. Moving on. Here we go. Wide receivers. Who do we like? Chance, let's start with you. This year's your guy.
No,
I think you're the only one that likes it, but hey, we're gonna roll with it.
I'm gonna say it. Okay, I'm gonna say
I'm not gonna take this AJ Terrell slander.
I am gonna hear the reason I picked George Pickens because 2 reasons. One, I am firmly in the camp that I think George Pickens finishes the season as a top 12 wide receiver. He is the only target in Pittsburgh right now. Like, are you telling me that with a core of Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin and Van Jefferson, Pat Freiermuth is there also. Are you telling me George Pickens couldn't average 8 catches a game?
No.
Like 8 targets at least? Like he could have 160 targets at the end of the season. Like he could absolutely eat those moon balls from Russell Wilson. So on top of that, Aaron Schatzer, I spoke about earlier, the guy who invented DVOA, when he was ranking out, his projection at the start of the season was still Atlanta Falcons defense number 32. Okay. I get it that they added Justin Simmons and Matthew Judon.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Justin Simmons fan, but after he calculated that, they still only jump up to the 23rd defense in the NFL based on the guy who originated DVOA's projections. So to me, and he's lower on them than a lot of people are, I just think George Pickens is in a really good spot to see the ball early and often in that Pittsburgh game.
Yeah, I think you're probably the only one that likes Pickens, but that's okay. Watch him go off. Watch him go off. Watch him tear
I
up.
know you love Atlanta. I get it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Lineberry, you got Nico here.
My guy. Love Nico.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like we all have our favorites of like this trio of the Texans. So like I love Nico. Like I just feel like everybody's gonna key on Tank just because of all the offseason hype that he's gotten with CJ Stroud, and then Stephon Diggs is the new shiny toy, so we got to key on him. I just think Nico is just going to be Mr. Consistency going against an unproven Colts secondary. Like, I think he's just going to get a ton of work. I think it's pretty easy. He was their best receiver last year. He was out there the most. I just
was he? Was he?
Yeah.
He was the only wide receiver they had.
Yeah. I mean, they had
out there the most via necessity.
Yes.
But I just think Nico Collins is going to be Mr. Consistency out there. I don't know if he'll have as many boom bust games as Tank, but I think he's always going to get you 8 catches and 80 yards. Like, he's just a good player, and I think this Colts secondary is bad.
Yeah, I think it's worth just rolling him out there this week. I agree. I am very intrigued this week to see what happens with Dell and
Diggs.
Yeah, Diggs. So I'm just curious. I'm curious what that offense looks like now. So we'll see how it goes. Yep. Mine's Wilson. Wilson is up there. I know he's probably wide receiver 8, wide receiver 7, somewhere in there for this week. Man, roll him out there with confidence. Everybody's worried about Aaron Rodgers and Achilles. If I said it earlier, if you go back and watch another show, if Aaron Rodgers is 70% of what he was, dude, Garrett Wilson will eat. He will be phenomenal. If you got him in the second round, even late second round, which is crazy. I've seen him fall that far, but kudos on you. He is going to just be a baller. Roll him out with confidence. Set it, forget it. Don't worry about it. Wilson's going to do you good. Guys that we do not like, let's roll out with it, Chance. I know you. He's one of my guys I really do like, but I understand with your first thing here.
I love DK, and I've been on the DK train. I've been on it all summer. Okay, I'm a big believer.
Conductor. He's been the conductor.
Yeah. Chew, chugga, chew. Okay. But I also think that, again, this offensive scheme that I know that they want to roll out, I think like any new scheme, it's going to take a little time.
Just say he's lined up across from. Just say
okay,
he's lined
that's
up across
my point. My point is that
that's all you need to say.
DK Metcalf is going to have the best cornerback in the NFL lined up across from him in Pat Surtain. Okay. Pat Surtain is a dog. And I think that it just makes me nervous. It's really hard for me to know how defenses are going to look this early in the season. We can look at last year, but schemes change, players develop, players regress. We have no idea what's going to be good. But I can tell you, we could list 10 defenders that we say they scare me in the NFL, no matter how their defense is. Pat Surtain is one of those to me. And so I'm just worried about what DK can actually haul in this first game against a Broncos secondary that is probably better than people think they are.
Yep. It's fair.
That's fair. Justin, your guy?
So I went with Pittman again, just on the Colts thing. So this Texas defense, like a lot of people have said, they'll be top 5. I think they're super improved. They have 2 great edges in Will Anderson, and then they brought in Danielle Hunter from the Vikings, who's been a stud, who's been a consistent 10-sack guy. They went out and got Kamari Lassiter. So he played for Georgia, and he's just a mean DB. Like he reminds me a little bit of Cortland Finnegan. Remember him played for the Titans? Mean. Like he's just scrappy dog. And they have who I think is a top 5 corner in Stingley. He went, I think he was in the same draft as Surtain, and he was
Derek Stingley
picks before him. I think he'll be a top 5 corner in that talk at the end of the season. And I think he's going to get Pittman fits. I think they're going to put him on him and say, hey, Richardson, figure it out. Like, you're not going to throw the ball you're not going to give it to Pittman. Like, that's not going to be your guy. I think he's going to struggle. Pittman is a catch the ball, fall down guy. He's 8 catches, 80 yards. Hopefully you get a touchdown out of him. I think he maybe gets 3, maybe 2 catches in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Expect
that offense
Steichen to lean on Richardson running the ball and Jonathan Taylor running the ball too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this offense will be interesting, and I am a big Shane Steichen guy. I really like AR5 this year, but I'm really curious this first game, that preseason game, put the little brakes on me a little bit. But I'm big out of this, but I don't know if Pittman's been around for a long time, and I'm just kind of like, it's not great, right? He seems to keep going high in these drafts year after year after year, but he doesn't really do that much. So we'll see.
One of the
My guy,
zero shares in. I never had.
Agreed. My guy, and he was tough. This guy's been a baller for so long. Devontae Adams, he's 13th, I think, coming for week 1. I just don't know about this offense. If you got him, hopefully you got him super late at a bargain. You roll him out there, see what he can do. Just temper your expectations. It's hard to sit him, but I put him on this list of, man, if I had other guys, I would consider it, but it's hard. They are playing the Chargers, so nothing crazy doesn't scare you. But just be mindful, temper your expectations this week. Moving on to our tight ends. Yeah, we love all these guys that have been on our list. Justin, go ahead and start with your guy.
My guy's not.
Wait. Who's your guy? Is your guy Kyle Pitts? It would be.
No.
It would be Kyle Pitts.
That's not my guy.
Okay. Yeah, now you're saying Kyle Pitts is not your guy after all this offseason.
No. Listen.
Here's the deal. I will claim Kyle Pitts.
There was some miscommunication. Okay, my guy is another Denver guy.
Oh, that's right. You were Dulcich, huh?
You were Dulcich. That is correct.
Okay, so I'll just quickly talk about Dulcich. Then Chance can talk about Pitts. I would love to hear about it. So Dulcich, I think Chance alluded to it a little bit. I think Bo Nix is going to rely on 2 things in this game. I think he's going to rely on Javonte, passing game, or Jalil. Whoever's in the backfield, I think he's going to throw the ball a lot too. I think that's the game plan. Hey, let's make some easy throws for Bo. Make it easy as possible. Maybe stay away from the outside. I haven't seen Bo Nix. He doesn't seem like a vertical passer. That's not Sean Payton's scheme. It seems like everything is horizontal, make a guy miss. I think Greg Dulcich is going to eat. Like, he is on the waiver wire probably in 95% of your leagues. Like, I think he catches probably 5 to 8 balls in this game, which is awesome for a tight end. Maybe he gets in the end zone. Bo Nix at Oregon. I know they had 2 really good wide receivers, and Tez Johnson and then Troy Franklin, who they drafted. But he still threw the ball. Their tight end last year had 42 receptions. And Sean Payton has had a really good tight end before, Jimmy Graham, and made him really good. I think they do try to keep things inside the hashes with Javonte and Greg Dulcich.
No, that's fair. Could you say with Dulcich, and I know he's on our list here, could you say he could be a Jimmy Graham type of player in this offense?
I think
I like that comp.
Jimmy Graham, I felt like he was a top 5 tight end. I felt like for 5 years when they traded to Seattle, and he kind of disappeared. I don't know if he has that kind of crazy upside. It'll be interesting to see what Sean Payton does with him because he's huge. Like he's a big athletic tight end. He's not a slouch. Like this Denver game is super interesting to me to see how Bo Nix plays in this offense. Like I was pretty out on Bo Nix, but like see him play in the preseason, like man, he might be a dude. Like he might be able to supply some fantasy relevant guys. So
that's fair. That's fair.
I would not be surprised if he finishes as a top 15, top 12 tight end.
It's fair.
Yeah, and listen, to me, just moving on from, I love your pick, the Broncos fan. Now I'm going to speak kindly of your tight end, right? This might be the one of the few times about Kyle Pitts here kindly to you, but I do think Kyle Pitts is a really good stardom for this week, right? I think that you're looking at them playing a Pittsburgh team that we know has a really good defense. Okay. They have TJ Watt, who's going to be coming screaming off the edge there. They have really good corners in Joey Porter Jr. and Dante Jackson. Okay. So to me, that leaves a Kirk Cousins who has not a ton of mobility, not the opportunity to really step up in the pocket. He is going to need the opportunity to have outlets all over the field. And I love that they have Bijan, but I really think that they want to target Kyle Pitts in this offense, right? Everyone knows that Bijan's good, and Bijan's a second-year back. Okay, Drake London the same. But they spent a top 5 pick on Kyle Pitts. Is that right? Was he a top 5 pick in the NFL draft?
He was the 4th pick. Yep.
The 4th pick, right? And he has continually been what we would say as fantasy managers, disappointing. And I think that as a team, they feel his production has been disappointing. If you want to talk about where they start this rebuild, to me, it has to be proving that Kyle Pitts was a good pick. So I do agree that Lineberry, he said before he thinks Kyle Pitts could finish the season as the tight end 1. I don't disagree, but I do think that this is where they want to start to really push the Kyle Pitts usage. And I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are susceptible to it.
I do agree with you, Chance. I think this is the game that Pitts comes out. And there we go. There he is. That's the guy we were looking for. And it'll be right out of the week, right from week 1. So
he looks so much better now, like in preseason and like in practice. Like I think I've said this, like his cutting last year was rough. Like he looks so much better at getting out in and out of routes. So I'm excited.
Yep. Kincaid and McBride, we can kind of tie these two together. They actually play each other this week. Both the young guys, both will probably get targeted a lot in this game. We're like roll them out there. They both of them should have lots of targets, lots of opportunity, and they'll get it with decent wide receivers. I mean, right? Marvin Harrison Jr. is not decent. He's good. We'll see what the Buffalo Bills will roll out with Keon Coleman, Shakir, who's going to be their number 1. We don't know, but we do believe both these guys are going to get a lot of targets. Roll those two guys out with confidence.
These to me are just 2 tight ends. We talk about this a lot. You want to draft a tight end that has an easy path to the second pass catcher or first pass catcher on their football team. Dalton Kincaid and Trey McBride coming into this are poster boys for that. Okay. We have no idea who wide receiver 2 is on either of these teams, but we do know that they're both mobile quarterbacks who can absolutely chuck the rock. That to me screams shootout, where these tight ends are going to be featured.
Yep.
Agreed. Should be fun to watch this weekend. Moving on to tight ends we don't like. This may surprise some people. Like, we're just a little bit hesitant on it. Chance, start us off.
Listen, I'll go. So who was yours, Matt? Which of these was yours?
Bowers.
Okay. So Kittle, to me, I just think Kittle's going to be a really tough start against the New York Jets. I mean, it's again one of those games. I think the Jets and the Niners, both really good defenses. I think this is going to be an absolute slugfest. And it, to me, is the same reason why we have Travis Kelce on this list. I think they're going to be slugfest, high defense, low scoring affairs. And as much as I love George Kittle's long-term outlook on the season, I like DK's long-term outlook on the season, I think George Kittle is just going to struggle to get the ball. I think the Niners, especially if Trent Williams does not play, they're going to struggle so hard in pass protection that it's going to be really hard for Brock Purdy to shine and be effective. To me, that affects all of these pass catchers in that offense. George Kittle being number 1. To me, he is target number 4 for them. And if they're struggling, I think you have Ayuk, Debo, CMC ahead of him. The 4th option when they are hurting, that's hard for me. He's a sit-em.
Agreed. It'll be interesting to see what this 49ers offense is. They've had so much drama in this offseason, so much little things led by Ayuk and offensive line and all kinds of stuff. So we'll see what happens. Justin, your tight end, sit him this week.
I mean, the thing is like you can't sit Kelsey, but like just temper your expectations here. So with them playing the Ravens, I like the same thing with the Jets-Niners game. Like, I think they're just going to beat the piss out of each other. Like, it's not going to be pretty. I think Kansas City is going to try to show off Xavier Worthy a little bit. I think they're going to try to hit the deep ball a couple times. I think Rice will probably have a decent game. So with Kelsey, if you know anything about the Baltimore defense, they probably have one of the best linebackers, if not the best linebacker in football, in Roquan Smith. Freak, plays really well. They also have, I think, just a safety that gets forgotten. Kyle Hamilton is a freak.
Oh, he's a dude. He's a dude.
If you watched any of his stuff at Notre Dame, it was a crime that he went 14th overall a couple of years ago. I was so mad because that's who I wanted. He is 6'4", and he moves like he's 5'10". He is the biggest chess piece in football. And like they're like, okay, we're gonna take Kelsey out of this game with Kyle Hamilton. If that's Kyle Hamilton's one job, and just let Roquan go make some plays, I think Kyle Hamilton is probably one of the very few guys that can match all these crazy tight ends because he's just as big as them. He has crazy length. And again, I think it's going to be pretty low scoring, as well as the Chiefs want to stay Kelsey for when football matters. I don't think this game, week 1 is crazy. Like, you're just going to get some wacky outcomes. That's just how week 1 of NFL football is. And like, I just think he can get erased. Like, that's what Hamilton does. He's an eraser of whatever piece you have on offense.
Agreed. Again, Kelsey being tight end 2, coming out in standard leagues, PPR. I believe he might be number 1, number 2, somewhere in there. Yep, number 2 still. Just keep that in mind. We're a little bit off against this Baltimore defense, like Lineberry said. Mine's simply Brock Bowers. This is going to be interesting. It's the Chargers. I think the reason why I'm sitting him is I just don't know what they're going to do with him. I hope they use him like a Taysom Hill, like we said that before. Getting the ball in his hands, let him work, let him do his thing. If they do that, my goodness, that will flip. He'll become a stardom very quickly in my eyeballs. So, but keep that in mind. We just need to see more. Wanted to throw a Cap for Life. Had a couple of questions, gentlemen. So the first one he had, thanks for joining, my friend. Waddle or Flowers?
This is easy to me.
It's easy. Yeah, Chance already knows my answer.
This is Waddle all day because Zay Flowers. We just talked about Travis Kelce. I don't know. The Ravens might want to come out and just absolutely run the ball like crazy against the Chiefs and keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. So if you wanted to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, you run the ball a ton. Jalen Waddle is on a more explosive offense with a more down the field scheme. That's Waddle. Unless he's hurt. Again, if he's hurt, that's an easy answer.
Yeah, and I think whether this is you're a draft or this is week 1, I'm still Waddle over Flowers. It's easy, Waddle over Flowers all day.
Easy. The next question is harder.
Yeah.
Yes, that one's hard.
Yeah, this is tough. Rice or Waddle? Well, Lineberry, we'll let you take that one.
Oh man, this is I like the value you've been getting Rice at has been nuts, but oh man, this is a tough one because, like I said, I just think this is going to be a shootout. I've been high on Waddle and Devontae Smith, so I would probably start Waddle here. I just think, like, even though like I'm pretty down on Tua, man, Waddle is such a good player, right? I think the Chiefs are going to rely on Pacheco these first couple weeks and just hammer the ball down everybody's throat. That's what I think is going to happen. But that is a very hard start. Who to start? Rice and Waddle are super close for me.
Chance, you agree? Disagree?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's Waddle over Rice for me as well.
Yep, agreed. One more here. Actually, there's a couple more. But Cap for Life, another question. I've seen two around the 12-13 in each round. Good value? Chance?
Absolutely. I'm a huge Tua fan. I mean, he finished number one in the NFL in passing yards last year. I understand that didn't always translate to his fantasy finish. He finished in the top 10. But again, he's going to throw the ball, and he always starts super hot to start the season. He's a great guy to have from weeks 1 to 8. Love that. And by then, somebody else has popped up on waiver. You can get a QB2 to the season. But Tua is a great start every year.
Yep, easy value there. And then what's the earliest you should take, what's the earliest you'd take CJ Stroud?
Oh, this is tough. I don't have any shares of Stroud because I can get Kyler Murray earlier. Stroud just feels like his pendulum swung way too far, like value wise. Like he's just going way too high. There's just so many good quarterbacks. Like there's Tua, there's Stafford, there's Goff. Like I would probably rather have them, or I can get, because Stroud's going like the 4th or 5th round, which is crazy. I've seen him go in the 3rd round in some drafts. I don't love it. Like if I got him in their 5th or the 6th, I would be okay with that.
Yeah, Stroud, I don't have much of either. I do worry about his. I got some. Like I have some thought noises. I don't know. I would probably avoid him altogether in that for that question. So I've seen him go in as early as the 40th pick, so 4th round. But there's other guys that I want. Let somebody else take Stroud. We'll pick somebody else like a Kyler Murray or a Jordan Love or even a Jaden Daniels. I like a little bit better. So keep that in the back of your mind.
Yep.
Mega Break full PPR. Start Ingram or Schultz.
This one's easy. Chance already knows my answer to this one, I bet.
Hey, tell me your answer. I want to hear it.
Ingram, easy.
Are you Ingram? Yeah.
Catches so many balls.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah. I just don't think that Tennessee has added enough other target monsters to their offense. Right? Like Etienne will get his, and Brian Thomas Jr. will get his. But to me, it is what it was last year. Evan Ingram's going to get peppered with targets.
Yeah, Trevor will rely on Ingram just to start off. They did add Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas. I think it'll take them a while to build that rapport. So I think he'll lean on Ingram quite a bit to start these first few games.
Yep, agreed. And Mega Brick has one more here. Saw you guys have Pittman as a sit this week. I'm in a full PPR. Would you bench Pittman for any of these players? Zamir White, Josh Palmer, or Judy?
Oh, yes. I love this question. Okay, I got this.
Okay, let's hear it.
I got this real quick. Hey, this to me is an easy one. I think for sure, bench Pittman, start Josh Palmer. Start Josh Palmer.
Oh, I love it.
He is
I
the
love
Chargers
it.
wide receiver 1. He
Yes.
is the Chargers wide receiver 1 right now. You're telling me that they're going to trust a rookie in Ladd McConkey or the ghost of Quentin Johnson who can't catch anything? No, it's Josh Palmer who has a rapport with Justin Herbert, especially with Herbert being out a little bit this offseason. The only guy in there that really knows how Herbert throws a ball, Josh Palmer, who I think should finish as a top 24 wide receiver this year, no problem.
Yep, I would actually start all 3 of those guys over Pittman. I don't have a problem with Zamir White, Josh Palmer, or Judy. I like what I've seen out of camp for. I like what I've seen out of camp for. I do like all of them.
There's nothing. There's nothing Lineberry hates more in the NFL.
I know
a Deshaun Watson to Jerry Judy touchdown pass.
That's like Jameis Winston, baby.
That's his nightmare.
So Mega Brick, one more has easy Goff over Purdy, right? So you guys have Goff as a start all day, every day. Yeah, this week for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I am. That's easy. Yep, do it live.
Yeah, Mega
Brick. Thank you for hanging with us. Real quick before we sign off, talk a little bit about. I want to talk about some defensive streamers here.
Yes.
Real quick, Lineberry, who do you got? Who you plugging in here real fast?
It's Atlanta.
Oh my gosh!
It's Atlanta defense. Let's talk about it. Chance. They literally know exactly what Arthur Smith wants to do. They know his offense. Most of those guys that play defense, they know what he wants to do. They know the plays. they added arguably, okay, not arguably, Justin Simmons has had the most interceptions since he came into the league. And you know who he's playing next to? The best safety in the league, Jesse Bates, was an all-pro last year. A freak. He baits players on so many stuff. Like, their back end is going to be disgusting. Like, Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. Like, he was an average quarterback last year. Arthur Smith is not a good play caller. He's not. He's a terrible play caller. Like, let's be honest. Russell's probably going to throw three INTs at least. Let's just be honest about it.
No, he was way more careful with the ball. Hey, Lineberry, listen, I love the fun that we're gonna have on this show. I would take it to the bank. Whatever betting we do on this podcast, that Atlanta does not finish above the 24th ranked defense in the league at the end of this year.
Let's bet on it.
Put a receipt on it, and no monetary. It just has to be some type of
we'll figure. We have time. We have time on this pod to figure out what we'll want it to be.
We'll see enough of each other during wrestling season. So.
Oh, we will. See, for me, defense wise, I'm going to go with the best defense in the NFC South with the Saints. To me, my streaming. Listen, the Saints. Here's the thing with the Saints. The Saints are the most average team in the NFL. Okay, they are the most average team in the NFL. The most average defense. They rank 15th on DVOA's defense and 15th on DVOA's offense. But when a team is so average, you just think they're bad. You just think, they're no good because they're so average. They make you feel that way. Not only are they not a bad defense, an average defense, they're playing an actually bad offense in Carolina this year. So to me, I have an average defense playing a bad offense. I think the Saints are going to be just fine as a streamer. That's it. The Saints or the Cincinnati Bengals, who play New England, that has zero offense.
Yeah.
I do like the Saints pick because they are playing Carolina. We'll see what that offense looks like. I'll give you mine real fast, and if you guys have to know this, if Lineberry is going to pick Atlanta, then I'm certainly taking the Chicago Bears against Tennessee. That they are going to destroy Tennessee. That defense is very, very good. They're much improved. So you'll see this week.
Guys, I should have just picked the Broncos. I should have.
Yes, I know. I do like the Bears streaming this week. So, yeah, I like the Bears streaming this week. I'm not saying they're a top 12 defense. I just as a streaming option this week. We do have one more question before we sign off, fellas. Again, this is from Cap from Life. It's just kind of rating his team here. Let me get up. There we go. So first round, St. Brown. Second round, Josh Jacobs, followed by A-Chain, Waddle, Stroud, Kincaid, Singletary, Coleman, Ford, JSN, Shakir, Benson, Dobbs, Tua, and the Chiefs defense. In my opinion, well done, Cap. There's not much more that you could have done here. I think, maybe the quarterback at 5 is a little bit of reach, but again, I don't know who was there. In some of these leagues, those quarterbacks go super early. So, but I do like a lot of these guys. I have many of these guys on my my team as well.
Hey, I'll be super honest. So I love the team. The Josh Jacobs pick to me is awesome. Okay, A-Chain is a little bit risky. Kincaid is great. I would go get a Tyrone. I would go get somebody to back up Singletary. I think Shakir, to me, Shakir and Trey Benson would be your first waiver wire drops after this week. You know, because I don't know if I think you're going to find out between Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir. To me, I would pick which one you want more. I would take Shakir and go get a backup and you might not be able to get one for A-Chain, right? Probably was drafted, but go get Tyrone Tracy. Okay, go get somebody that can back up one of these other running backs of yours, because I think you're going to need it. And I like your Trey Benson handcuff, but I'm not a Trey Benson truther. So to me, that's going to be another spot that you should go hunt down a waiver wire pickup with them. But I like Tua. I love your Chiefs pick.
Yeah, I would add to that real quickly. So you have A-Chain. You know, you may not have been able to get Mostert, but go out and get Jalen Wright. I think having two of that backfield, even if somebody goes down, I think you're in really good shape. Singletary is interesting. Coleman's interesting forward. You're good. I don't know if you don't have. I would look to see if you can make a trade with Benson to the Connor owner. See what they have, and maybe a Shakir Benson trade or even I don't know, a Coleman Benson trade to see if you can increase your wide receiver group a little bit. But it looks good.
Lighter grade wise, I'd probably give him like a B+ because that's what he asked for. Like running backs. I don't know how Josh Jacobs got picked before Devon Achane. That one's kind of weird. I would love to see the draft board. I mean, that would give us more context of it. But like his two receivers, two running backs, they're really good. Got a good quarterback. I don't know how Kincaid was in the 6th round. That's nuts. That's crazy value. So
yeah, that is good. A lot of times he'll go 4 or 5. This is all from the 5 spot he said, which is good. And then he said, I've come to realize that realize my formula after the 8th round of drafting your team is when you start stacking the handcuff either late or mid in the draft, followed by defense 12-13. Yeah, I think the best strategy to go into is just, we've said this over and over, is just got to go with the flow. Ebbs and flows. Don't reach for anybody. Let players fall to you. Don't push the stack. Right. I think we all kind of like the stack. Everybody kind of like, yeah, I got this guy and this guy, but don't push it. And then his final thought, Lineberry, I'm going to let you talk about this because you just briefly talked on it. Thoughts on White from Tampa before you guys sign off. Appreciate you guys. We appreciate you, Cap for Life. Thanks for hanging with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I think the biggest thing with White is this offense is so unknown, and like I think Bucky Irving is a decent running back, and they're about the same size. He's pretty explosive. I just don't know what this offense is going to look like. And the reason White was such a value last year and so relevant is because he caught the ball so much. Like, we have to remember that. Like, if it's a full PPR, like, sure, White probably has some value. Again, he was drafted in the 4th or 5th round. Like, those guys just don't have a lot of life after. Like, you can look at Dameon Pierce last year, where I think he was going like the 2nd or 3rd round last year, and like he just disappeared off the face of the earth because like Devin Singletary took his job, which was super weird. So like, I just don't love it. I don't think that offense is going to be super great. So,
yep, agreed. Well, gentlemen, we are about 57 minutes in, almost to the hour. We're going to sign off. Thanks everybody for hanging with us. Thanks for all the people that jumped in. Cap for Life, Mega Brick, Brad, Parker. Thanks for James. Thanks everybody for hanging with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe that button. Again, we are here just wanting to help you win your fantasy football league and get that trophy, right? That's what it's all about in bragging rights.
It's football season, baby. It's football season.
Yep, absolutely. Chance, any last words before we sign out?
Man, 208, stay great, baby. I love it.
Lineberry.
Genty for Heisman, baby.
Genty.
All right, there you go. Have a good rest of the weekend. Happy Memorial Day, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Labor Day. Labor. It's the Labor.
Did I say?
Day.
What did I say? Did I not say? Did I say Labor Day? Did I say Memorial Day? I meant Labor Day. Yeah, sorry. Labor Day. Labor Day. That's when football is around Labor Day. My apologies.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We'll talk soon.